Hello, I'm Richard Breeden, and today we're going to be talking about project-based and problem-based learning. If we were to create a Venn diagram of project-based and problem-based learning, we would have a very large middle section of similarities. They do have a lot of things in common, but they also have some distinct aspects of them that make them slightly different. As I said, there are a lot of similarities, which means they are easily confused in education. So we're going to look at some of their similarities, and then we'll take a look at differences. So the first similarity we want to look at is they incorporate the four C's: critical thinking, communication, collaboration, and creativity. These are important skills that are used in both project-based and problem-based learning that will help students learn 21st century skills of critical thinking at higher level thinking, and then communication and collaboration. It also promotes active learning, which is students taking charge of their own education rather than passively listening to a teacher give a lecture or watching a video. They provide real life situations for students, and that is the why. Students like to ask the question, when am I going to use this in life? And problem-based and project-based both give an answer to that by having the student work on real-life situations right now in the classroom. They're both student-centered methods as well, which means instead of the teacher being the instigator and the reason for learning, students are taking control of their own learning and pushing that forward and taking the responsibility to be active learners. And we can't deny that they both have the same abbreviation, which sometimes leads to the idea that they are interchangeable, but they're not. And we'll see why that is. So we're going to focus first on problem-based learning. With problem-based learning, you're giving the students a real-life problem to solve. And once they have that problem, they're going to use an inquiry approach. So they're going to combine sources that they know or research sources, new sources, and ask questions and try to solve this problem in a multitude of ways. The teacher can act as a facilitator in these situations by guiding the students, but they should let them choose their own path to figure out the problem themselves. Once they have figured out all these different methods of looking at the problem, they should develop a solution. And there are 5 goals to a problem-based learning. Help students construct flexible knowledge, develop problem-solving skills, and have them be self-directed learning, and become effective collaborators and motivated learners. Obviously, with a problem-based learning, they're going to be problem-solving, and you want them to be intrinsically motivated, to be self-directed, to come up with a solution. You want them to want to figure out this problem. An example that I use in my own class is I have my students research the effects of immigration in the United States. And we have them look at different reasons why people choose to immigrate from one country to another. And we try to not solve the problem of immigration as a whole, but see what steps we can do to either stop migration from other countries or to help with the immigration problems that we have in our own country. Project-based learning, on the other hand, does not really focus so much on a problem, but you're focusing on a product. And to create that product, students will be doing a project. So that product can be a video, it can be a presentation or skit in class, it could be a 3D model or artwork. There's a ton of possibilities, but you should give them an open-ended task. One of the ones that I do is I have my students create a resource for the public, for our community, on why we should learn a second language. As a Spanish teacher, I think that's very important, and we have a lot of need for it in our own community, but we don't really know why. So they do a two-part problem and project together with this. They've researched all of the background on why they should learn a second language, and then they create, most of the time students like to do videos or pamphlets, but they create a resource that they can then distribute to the community. I give them an open-ended task so that they can choose, so that no matter what their learning style, they can succeed at this project. Give students the ability to collaborate is also an important aspect of project-based learning. Projects can get quite large, so having students work in groups and assigning them roles can really aid in having students remain focused and determined to finish this project. So you should be assessing on the student's contribution and the ability to complete the project, as well as the artifact in the end. So I look, in my example of their second language resource, I look at their video presentation or their pamphlet or their poster board and assess how much work that they've done to answer the problem, or to complete the project for that. Project and problem-based learning stand weak as one, but when combined, the results are amplified. My examples of project-based and problem-based learning can work together. Like Galvin and Coronado said, they are often interconnected, and if you're just doing one, then students are just either creating a project of stuff that they already know, or they're solving a problem, but not creating and using or synthesizing that information. Putting them together makes students work at a higher level thinking to both learn and then present their learning in a presentation or any of those project-based ways that we talked about.